Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. Brandon again, and I'm having some trouble losing weight. And I never thought I would really say that again since high school and playing basketball all the time and really burning through metabolism and always considering myself a hard gainer. You guys have been following me for any length of time know that for the most part, my average body weight tends to be around 220 to 225, and my maintenance calories at that weight is somewhere around 2,700 to 3,000 calories. Now, 2 months back, I made a video at the end of July talking about the skinniest I've been in 20 years. And at the time of that video, I was 210 pounds, and that was pretty skinny even for my standards, but I ended up getting down further to 206 pounds, which is the lightest I've been since senior year of high school, freshman year of college. And again, that's when I was playing basketball for school, and I was burning tons and tons of calories, and I was your classic hard gainer. So I don't know what really happened, because the interesting thing is that I didn't do any extra cardio in terms of I wasn't running, biking, swimming, doing anything else out of the norm. I still had my normal 9 to 5 office job where I'm sitting at a desk all day. And then I did my normal training sessions 4 times per week that lasted around an hour and a half. Now I should say somewhat normal because it's not anything that I hadn't been doing before, but I think there were a couple factors that really contributed to expedite that weight loss. So again, losing a lot of weight in a little time, some of it planned, some of it unplanned. And I think some of that stuff is Wendler 531, doing AMRAPs, number one. Those are basically forms of cardio in some regard. And also supersetting a lot of the work I was doing in order to kind of condense my training. So if you guys aren't aware, I'm married, I have 2 kids now, and I don't have a ton of extra time for training. And on top of that, spending time with my family, friends, and also trying to make YouTube videos at least once a week now. Just don't have a ton of time. So I try to make the most of the time I'm here in the gym. And also the fact that here I am in the gym, it was hot as heck this summer, being on an average of like 90 degrees during the time I was cutting. I think all those factors really factored in to me losing a lot more weight than I was really anticipating. And it's really interesting that way because even though I got to be pretty shredded and I thought I'd be pretty happy, there was real no need to do that. As I mentioned, wife, 2 kids, no one I have to impress, even my friends on the internet. Couldn't impress you because you turned your back on me and told me I was too skinny, looked like I didn't lift, and I looked like I was sick. And I got to fix that. So I'm going on a bulk, everybody. I'm trying to fix things. And in order to do so, I'm relying on 2 very important tools, which are actually 2 very important tools I used for my cut. And again, some of the reasons why my cut was so successful. That is number 1, a food scale. So that way I can track exactly what I'm eating to ensure that I'm eating enough. I've been in the past and I've heard people in the past say, despite no matter how much I eat, I can't gain weight. And chances are those people aren't actually tracking what they eat. And if you were to track it, you'd see that you're not eating as much as you think. So a food scale is going to be very important for this bulk, as it is for my cut, to make sure that I was hitting my macros and making the most of my caloric intake at the time, which by the way, never dropped below 2,000. So again, very interesting that I was able to continually lose weight despite my actual diet not changing too much. And then finally, also an actual scale itself for me. So I'm measuring my food and I'm measuring me. And you guys know by now, I like the FitForm scale. Number 1, it's been consistent for me over the past 5 or 6 years. I've been talking about using the scale. It looks great, has stainless steel on it. It also measures some other things besides your normal weight, which I like to use just as general trackers for health and how I'm doing, whether I'm cutting or bulking. So it uses bioimpedance to tell you about your water weight, your bone density, your muscle mass. Again, bioimpedance isn't the most accurate thing at all, but again, by looking at it consistently and using the same source in order to measure, you will be able to track some of those changes, which I do find very interesting. And they've been, again, a big fan of my channel, sponsored several videos, including this one. I know a lot of you guys have gone out and bought the scale and told me you like it, so I appreciate you and I appreciate them. And if you're interested in picking up a scale like this, like the one I've been using for so long, you can do so using the coupon code in the video that you see right now, as well as the link in the description box below. That'll bring you right there and save you 60% on that scale if you're so inclined. So I'm using those 2 tools and I'm changing my training a little bit. I'm changing it, gearing it more towards powerlifting because ideally I do want to do more powerlifting meets. And now that I'm kind of gaining both in size and hopefully in strength and also in caloric intake, that's going to kind of carry me over now that my second son is here and things are hopefully going to transition a little bit back to a normal schedule. I can start getting back on the platform because I've missed competing. And let's be honest, I've missed wearing that singlet. I'm sure many of you have missed that too. So that is something that'll be coming up. But as far as my bulk goes, I don't have a set weight in mind that I want to reach. I just know I want to put on a lot of weight. One of the things that I'm pretty sure I'm going to do is compete in the USPA just because it seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll still be drug tested, of course, so I can hold my natty card up high. But the USPA weight classes are a little bit different. where it's like 220, then 242. And my average walking around body weight has always been 220 to 225. So I might actually start trying to push towards that 242 number. It might be a little bit fun to get a little fat and just feel happy and try to lift some bigger weights, because that caloric surplus will really help in doing so. But even though I've been trying to eat more, I've been trying to gain weight, I have had some trouble doing so. And again, the interesting thing here about it is not only the fact that I lost weight, the fact that I'm in the garage now, but the fact that my metabolism has seemed to be reignited on this bulk. So I've been taking in an average of 4,000 to 4,500 calories a day, and I'm still not putting on weight. And in some cases, if I'm eating 4,000 calories a day, I'm actually losing weight, which is kind of a little bit mind-boggling to me because I haven't had this experience in so long. Again, previously when I was training at home in the basement, I would weigh 220, 230. My maintenance would be 2,700 to 3,300 calories, depending on how much I weighed at the time. But it was never something where I could eat as much as I'm eating now and actually lose weight still at the low body weight that I'm in now. Again, average walking around weight right now as of this video is about 213 pounds. And this is still the lightest I've been consistently for a long time. So it's very interesting to me. And a lot of people would probably say, that's awesome, embrace it. You can eat all this food, you'll really love it. I wish I was in that situation. I thought I would be the same kind of thing. I thought this would be great. And at times it can be, because I can literally eat almost whatever I want and not gain a lot of weight. And if I do gain a lot of weight in one day, it's usually down the next day or so because it was just a one-time thing and not consistent. But to be honest, it's been very difficult for me because even though I'm trying to gain weight, I'm trying to do it in a smarter way this time. And I think that's one of the reasons why my cut was so successful, because I followed some specific plans from the Renaissance Periodization app, which I did a review on. I was very happy with that overall. There were some things I would have changed and would like to see them update, but I've used MyFitnessPal, I've used FitGenie, and I think I want to try to make sure that I'm not just going to go into a kind of perma-bulk where I'm just eating a ton of crap. I still want to keep my food in line with what my macros are. And for instance, for my bulking right now, my fat macros are at roughly 120 grams, which is only 30 grams higher than what they were at the peak of my cut, which were 90 grams. So just increasing 30 grams, which might sound like a lot to some, but when you figure 30 grams at 9 calories each, that's only like 270 calories. That's only a little bit of fat that I can add. And I have to add like 2,000 calories more because again, I'm going from a low of 2,000 on the cut to about 4,500. So doubling everything, but only adding about 200 of those calories from fat. So that leaves protein, that leaves carbs. And to be honest, I don't want to eat a ton of protein over really what my body weight is. So about 220 pounds, 230 means 220 to 230 grams is what I want to be at. That leaves a lot of carbs to eat. And it's something that has just been a little bit difficult to do. Now, truth be told, I could eat more protein, no problem. I find that's more of a pain in the butt to cook, prepare, unless I just want to start downing a bunch of whey shakes, which I was starting to do towards the end of my cut just because my other macros were somewhat lower and I wanted to make sure I could control them independently. I don't want to get into that habit right now. So instead, again, trying to keep protein about normal to what it was on my cut. In this case, just really up the carbs, because this way too, it's a lot easier to do that and not feel really overly full or bloated, which can sometimes happen if I overdo it on proteins or fats. So one of the things I've really been enjoying doing is eating a lot more cereal, especially my frosted, shredded mini wheats. It's interesting eating something that's called shredded to get me fat. But I like those a lot because they're quick and easy. They taste delicious and there's a ton of carbs per serving. And literally what I've been doing is adding like one huge bowl with some of my meals and just adding it up. And I actually have to give a shout out to Bryce from Calgary Barbell for talking about those. Although I think in his video, he talked just about the shredded wheats and not the ones that were frosted. But hey, what are you going to do about it? And just adding some other things in here, like for my breakfast, instead of having egg whites, I'll switch to whole eggs. Instead of having, one slice of cheese on a sandwich, I'll have 2 slices of cheese. So I'm just making little changes here and there and trying to adjust accordingly. But again, it's just been something that's been interesting and it's been fun. And it's also been disappointing that it's hard for me to put on weight. So those are my plans going forward. I want to get bigger, want to get bulkier. I want to get stronger, which I think is happening with the training I'm doing right now. And I'll have a video about what I'm doing after Wendler shortly. I've talked a little bit about it on Instagram, but I'll do a video about my training and maybe bring back those weekly recaps. And I do want to compete more. Probably looking at February right now in a USPA meet, but we'll see how things go. I figure that gives me plenty of time to kind of get back in the swing of things with training. And hopefully by then I'll be big and fat, or at least fatter. We'll see how things go. So hopefully that is answering all your questions. You had them. So I'm not dying. I'm not sick. I've just been trying to gain weight and I had trouble. So I'm just a guy trying to get fat. Anyways, if you have any questions about what I'm doing or questions about anything else, as always, just leave them in the comment section below. I'll get to them. In the meantime, as always, I've said that already. Thanks for watching and stay big. And check out the link for the Form Fit scale if you're interested. Link will be in the description box below. See ya.